Hey guys, what is up? Big Drew here. You were listening to the Where's Big Drew podcast. I'm actually doing this in video form today. I've been posting stuff on social media. People have been asking me questions about different things. And, I just got to the point where I was like, you know what, it's just going to be easier if I just do a video to kind of explain everything. So a little bit of background, and if you've listened to the podcast, you kind of know already what I'm going to say, but travel's been a pretty big part of my life. I was an over-the-road truck driver at one point. Used to have to do travel for sales and business, stuff like that, and I've just had to sort of kind of travel around a lot, and that sort of led to me starting the Where's Big Drew page, which is just me essentially checking out, local businesses and it's primarily focused on food, but it's not necessarily just food. If I go to a local putt-putt store, putt-putt store, if I go to a local, putt-putt course, or if I, want to go, take a, fishing guide trip with somebody, it's really just, where is Big Drew? What am I doing? If I'm in Gatlinburg, or if I'm in Arizona, or, wherever it is, it's just me documenting sort of my travels and adventures and stuff like that along the way. So if you haven't already, click subscribe. But yeah, and even still today, I do a lot of traveling, and I'll, a restaurant will hit me up and they'll say, hey, we want you to come do a review on our, restaurant or our business, whatever it may be. And so travel is still kind of essential to what I do. And so I wanted to sort of shrink it down for those of you who are interested in traveling and are basically looking at how you can save money, how you can, just different tips. And so I made a list, and I basically said, okay, there's 5 things that I was going to do, 5 things that I was going to recommend on, like, if you wanted to go traveling tomorrow, and, even if you wanted to start this as a business, that's great. But if you was going to take off and travel somewhere, whether it's, 12 hours, 3 hours, whatever it may be, I wanted to narrow it down to 5 things that I felt like were pivotal that you need to know in order to get the most out of your trip. And so I'm going to kind of break those down one at a time. Step 1, or tip 1, is plan ahead. Where are you going to stay? What are you going to eat? What do you want to do when you get there? It sounds like kind of like an obvious thing, but a lot of people don't do this. And I'm actually going to get into tips for lodging, tips for fuel, how to sort of get money back, and different things like that. I'll get into that kind of on the next few tips, but have a good plan for what you're going to do ahead of what when you're going to do it. And like I said, it sounds like it's super simple, but like, research the area that you're going to. I'll never forget one of the worst business trips that I've ever had to do was in Tupelo, Mississippi. Got nothing against the city, but I don't really want to go back there because I had such a bad experience on this business deal. But I researched some things, while I was in the area, and found out that that was Elvis's birthplace. That's something that, really I would have never known if I didn't research it. But research what's in the area, what to do. There might be ways that you can get discounts, or, just experience things you didn't know that you'd experience. You don't want to go somewhere and then come back and then figure out I should have done that while I was there. So one thing that I like to do as far as what, planning ahead, I'll just throw it out on Facebook. Hey, going to, Gatlinburg, where's the best place to eat? Where's, the best place to take your family? Stuff like that. Have an idea of where you're going to stay, even if it's just a city. Now, one thing that I always like to do, and it drives my wife crazy, but if we're going down to Florida or somewhere and we want to stay somewhere in a specific city, I like to just drive down there and show up and basically be like, hey, we're here. What's the best deal you can do? And when you walk into somewhere like that off the street, they'll start kind of throwing discounts and stuff at you, doing the best that they can do. And so what I'll do is I'll take a notepad and I'll literally write down, whatever the name of that hotel or that lodge or whatever it is, and say, hey, what's the best deal you can do? Write it down. Boom. Okay. I may hit you back up here in a little bit, and then I'll go to the next one. And when people see that notepad and you're like, then they'll start kind of willing to deal with you, at least with me. Now, on the flip side of that, going back to the planning ahead thing, you want to make sure that you research before you go down to an area. Don't just assume that, there's not like a motorcycle week or, doomsday preppers convention or whatever it may be. So, you want to make sure that like there's not a whole lot going on in that area at the time that you're visiting. But that's one thing that I like to do. Another thing is consolidate your stops. Like plan, okay, so I've got 400 miles or so on this trip. Well, can I get all the way there on one tank of gas? If so, cool. If not, then you need to kind of figure out like, okay, what's on the way. Like if, for instance, if I was going to Memphis, I would consider stopping at Hattie B's or somewhere like that, even just White Castle, something that I don't get to get often. But you want to try to consolidate your stops. If you stop to get fuel, go ahead, get fuel, use the restroom, put ice in your cup, do whatever it is that you got to do in order to consolidate your stops, because you want to get there quicker so that you can A, do more, and B, the more you're pulling off the road and stopping along the way, that's just adding more time, and it's also adding more fuel. Consolidate your stops. The other thing is, if you're in the vehicle and you're moving, then it's kind of hard to spend money while you're moving, unless you just got somebody like me that's sitting there like on Amazon buying everything under the sun. But that's just a couple tips. Next tip I'm going to move on to is actually on the lodging aspect of it. One thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is that you can actually use Klarna to get Airbnbs, which Airbnbs is a good way to sort of save money, but also get like bang for your buck, especially if you got multiple people. But one thing that I didn't realize is that you can actually use Klarna to book like Airbnbs. And the cool thing about Klarna is, and if you read the ticker down there at the bottom, I'll put a link in the description of this video to where if you use my discount code, I think you get $30 off of your first purchase with Klarna. But what Klarna is it's basically like sort of like a credit card for people that don't have credit or good credit. Even if you have good credit, you can use it. But what it is it takes the entire purchase and it splits it up into 4 to 6 payments, and it's 100%, 0% interest. All that stuff. Like, so if something costs $100 and let's say you're going to spread it out over 4 payments, you pay $25 up front, and then every 2 weeks you pay $25 or whatever that is that it's split. And they'll show you how to do it. But you can use it on not even just like lodging. You can use it on like there's thousands of businesses and stuff that you can use it on. Amazon.com. There's places to eat, Target, Walmart. Like pretty much every major retailer you can use this on. So if you're sort of planning a trip, let's say you're going down to Disney World and you got to pack up like a bunch of snacks and supplies and stuff, that's another great way that you can kind of purchase a good chunk of stuff that you need for your trip, and you can sort of spread it out over 6 weeks. So that 1 week of vacation, it might cost $2,000, but if you split it up over into chunks, it makes it a little bit easier to take a bite of that. So, but yeah, you can actually book hotels, lodging. I know like for most people, hotels and where you're staying is going to be the most expensive thing of the trip. So that's a great way to kind of save money, is to use, an app like Klarna where you can spread that big purchase out over 6 weeks, and it makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes 8 weeks too. That's another cool thing that they have. But I'm a big fan of Klarna. I use it all the time. I think you start off with like around a couple $100 or so, and then as you, like buy stuff and spread it out or whatever, you can sort of build your spending up. I think I'm approved at like somewhere around 1,000 or something right now. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, that's a great way to save money and get good lodging. The third tip is actually fuel. I know right now it's crazy with the way the economy and everything's working. Fuel is like one of the biggest headaches right now. So a couple things. Um, One thing is when you're fueling up, and my wife was actually the one that found this, but when you're fueling up, make sure that you fuel up in the morning if possible, because A, it's not going to be as busy, and uh, B, the other thing is that when you fill up in the morning, gas, it expands over time. So the hotter throughout the day, the more it expands. So when you're pumping that into your car, you're actually getting less gas than if you would in the morning, where it's a little bit more condensed. So make sure that you fill up in the morning if you can. The other thing is, make sure that you use apps like GetUpside. That's one of my favorite ones. I use it all the time. I don't know, I may have a picture on here. But yeah, I've actually, just in GetUpside points alone, I've actually converted that into about $90. And that's no joke. That's literally $90 that I've converted it into. What I like about it is, well, let me back up a little bit. So the way that GetUpside works is you go on the app and it'll show you all the different places that you can fill up at that works through the app. Shells, Marathons, BPs, a little bit of everything. Phillips 66, Sunoco, all those. Most of your major fuel retailers that you can use through GetUpside. And what you do is you basically, and again, it's better to do this in the morning, but you scan down through and you kind of figure out sort of where you're going, or if it's just, before you want to leave town or whatever. And what you can do is you go and it'll show you the price for gas at each of these locations. And so it'll give you different cents off per gallon. I think the most I've ever seen is like 25 cents off a gallon, or 22, something like that. So it will actually give you, cents off or points back, however you want to call it, whatever you want to word it. It'll give you those points back on what you're filling up on, but you can also use that for inside the convenience store. There's certain restaurants and like grocery stores that you can use it as well. And like I said, it's just a great way to sort of start racking up points. And so basically you pay sort of cash up front and then they reimburse you the difference. And like I said, I use it all the time. Normally it goes through within a day or two, but you just go through and you pick out, okay, this is kind of where I want to stop. And then you click claim that offer and it gives you, I think, like 4 hours. And then all you do, you just punch in like the first 4 and last 4 of your credit card, I think. And it'll go through and pull that later. But yeah, GetUpside is a great way to not only get money back, but I'll take the money that I get and I'll actually convert it into like Amazon gift cards, or you can send it straight to your bank, either way. But what I like about it too is it shows you, like, you can look up the area and you can look at all of the gas stations and what they're charging right at, what they're charging and what you can get back. And it's funny because you'll have 2 gas stations right next to each other. Sometimes they'll be sort of priced the same, but one will be like 15 cents off a gallon and then one will be like 3. But same thing as before, I will send you guys a link, or if you look in the description, and there, like I said, I think there's probably a ticker right here. But I'll put a link in the description of this video, and you'll get 15 extra cents off a gallon just on the first fill up. And I'm pretty sure that's extra. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's 15 cents extra off of what you get. So if you find one that gives you 22 cents off, they'll add 15 cents on top of that, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Tip number 4 is you want to figure out ways to get your money back. The way that I like to do that, for one, look at your receipts. A lot of times they'll give you like, hey, do this survey, you'll get a free McChicken or whatever on your next stay, or whatever it is. A lot of times, like grocery receipts, and I did have one right next to me here. Now that we're talking about it, I had a grocery receipt. And I chopped this off at the bottom of it, but it was a free ticket to the Titanic Museum up in Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, or whatever. It's $5 off for an adult and $1 off for child admission, and then I think there's something for the Lumberjack Feud dinner show on there as well. But most receipts will give you free stuff. Most people wad them up, throw them away. The other thing is you can actually use apps like Fetch. And again, same things before. I'll put a link down in the bottom, but you can use apps like Fetch to take pictures of your receipt, and they give you points back. What's nice about that is, like, I just shop like I normally would, and then I'll take a picture of the receipt. Every once in a while, you'll get something back. Like, I think my wife went the other day, and it was like, if you got 2 deodorants, you got 3,000 points back, which I think 10,000 points is worth like $10 worth of an Amazon gift card. But like literally, I was already getting deodorant, and she's like, "Well, I'll just get 2." Boom, 3,000 points. I mean, that's like getting $3 back, pretty much. So, and you can look ahead of time. Like I think Nike, Amazon, there's a lot of different sites that this works with, where not only can you get points back, but you can use your points towards other purchases. And there's other times where certain things, like certain diapers or whatever, you'll get like 5,000 points for. And I think one thing was like, it was something for Huggies, and you got like 20,000 points or whatever it is. So it's a great way to not only get money back, but also take that money and use it towards other stuff. And like I said, I think you get like 25 points just for scanning the receipt. Like even if there's nothing on there that's any kind of deals, you still get 25 points just for scanning the receipt. So again, that's just a way to rack up free money and also get money back, and just like I said, it's a great way to do it. Last and final tip is make sure that you document everything. Not only just for the standpoint of like memories. I mean, like, you'd be surprised 2 years from now, you're like, man, what was the name of that burger joint we went to? You be able to pull it up, like take a picture of the sign, whatever it is, be able to pull that up, and then that way you can remember where you went. But the other thing is you want to keep receipts, especially if you're wanting to do this for a living. Like if you end up, say, putting out videos and YouTube and TikTok and all this stuff, and people want to start kind of following you, and you can actually start getting traction, making money on ads, stuff like that, that can become a legitimate business. So these receipts become tax write-offs. Not only that, but again, keep your receipts so that you can use apps like Fetch and go back and scan them and get points back, stuff like that. The other thing is, the more that you tag and share this stuff that you're doing, I mean, you never know. Like I've had some of my favorite restaurants just send me free stuff. I don't have it on me right now, but I had a local restaurant that literally just sent me like a free hat, gift card. Actually, the gift card might be right here. They literally sent me a $20 gift card just for putting stuff out there. Sometimes they'll send you coupons, stuff like that. But the way that I look at it is, if I'm already going to somewhere and I can monetize that somehow by either getting free gift cards back, getting ads, whatever, like go live while you're there, even if you're just showing your food, take pictures of it, share it, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you may eventually get someone, like you might start getting the following, and you might have people start throwing money at you or want to sponsor you. So document everything, not only, again, just so you can monetize it, but so you can go back and look at it later. And to be honest with you, I've never regretted taking too many pictures. That's just the way that it is. So hopefully you guys have got something out of this. Again, if you hadn't already, click like, click subscribe. If there's something else that you want to know about, let me know. Again, if you want links to Klarna, GetUpside, and Fetch, I will put links down to the description where you can literally get free points, get free money and stuff just for signing up. It's pretty awesome. And again, thank you guys so much for the support. Let me know where I should go next. If it's within 3 hours of Knoxville, like, I'm down. Hit me up in the messages. I know you guys hit me up all the time on Facebook and social media and stuff like that. But where should I go next? I mean, I'm pretty much down for whatever. I'm not huge on seafood, but my wife likes seafood, so I can take her. She can be the expert. If you have a restaurant that you want me to come check out, let me know. And we can talk about that later, but like, I go in completely incognito. I don't tell the restaurants that I'm even going to be there at the time. So yeah, like what am I trying to say? Like it's 100% incognito. I don't give them any kind of shout outs or anything beforehand. I show up that way I can get a full on experience of what it's like to be a customer. But again, if you're interested and you want me to come check out your restaurant, attraction, business, short term stay, whatever it is, hit me up, let me know. Until next time, this is Big Drew. Appreciate you guys listening to the Where's Big Drew podcast or watching this on YouTube as well. Yep. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Again, click like, click subscribe. Appreciate all the support. I'm out.